Ronnie Gelfont, 21st Century Public Adjusters. Today, we're going to talk about wind and storm damage claims. What qualifies as windstorm damage under a standard homeowner policy? Well, the term storm damage refers more so to hail and hurricane or other elements outside of wind, which usually work with the wind as well. Physically, what qualifies would be any type of specific one-time event damage that happens to your exterior roof and or siding or windows to your property. Usually something will be seen after a big storm. I would say shingles on the ground, your siding moved over, water coming in your property. Those are usually your best sign that something has happened. And these would be what we call qualifying elements that you could call for help. Does insurance cover roof damage caused by high winds and flying debris? Again, the wind damage is always going to be covered under your basic, your broad, and your other types of coverages. What you have to understand with wind, and when you say an object that blows through the wind, objects that blow through the wind could break your window. Objects can break your siding. They could actually puncture your roof. We have tree limbs that do that often, or large signs where debris has fallen or flown off of them, where metal has gone through flat roofs. So a lot of times if you're in a flat roof situation and flying debris has flown through the air and has punctured your flat roof and has gone through your seam, you would actually qualify for roof windstorm damage. So definitely a variety of different areas are covered under what we call flying debris and wind. Our costs for tree removal covered typically after a storm. Every policy is a little bit different. In a general sense, usually there's an allowance that is given, particularly if the tree is blocking the entryway of your home or entryway of one of the back door or front door, or even the garage door to the property. If there's a tree there, that's considered emergency, those trees can be moved. Other trees that are falling or on the house as well, same scenario. The insurance company usually has provisions within the policy for the tree removal. We usually review that in person with any of our clients so they have a very strong understanding of what can be reimbursed and what will not be reimbursed. How can a homeowner prove that a storm caused structural damage to their property? Well, structural damage is a little bit different than, your roof damage and or your siding damage or specific windows or, visual damage. What usually is seen is something more internal to the property where you have, maybe what I would or someone else would consider to be like stress cracks or structural foundation cracks in a home. This is where you bring professionals in that know more. What we would say is if this has all occurred from a particular windstorm, you had windstorms at 70, 90 miles an hour, maybe let's say partial of your roof has fallen in an area and you have concerns in that area that there could be other structural damages. We have relationships, if you hire our office, we bring in structural engineers that will look at specifics going on in that area of concern to ensure that everything is good, and or if there's a situation, have them write it up so we have enough information to make sure that when we talk to the insurance company about other damages, we're able to include this specific structural area. But you need to bring in professional help to know if there's structural damage. What documentations are critical when filing a windstorm claim? My biggest thing is always pictures. Whatever photographs you have of before or after. Before is always when you had a picture taken at some point for some event. It's what you see now. Because what you should do, because if there is damage that you're seeing, is protect your property. If there's damage where you now have shingles in the ground, you want to call a roofer to help protect your roof. They'll do whatever they need to do to temporarily repair what's going on to ensure you have no new damages from any further winds before you're able to show the specific damage that was just caused from this event. If it's structural on the exterior of your home where you're missing siding, same thing. There are ways for a siding and or roofing company to look at the property and do what they can to protect the property from any further, not necessarily wind damage, but other rain or other elements that could enter your home. So you want to do what you can to ensure that protection. And by ensuring the protection, you're taking pictures, which is validating that there was some type of wind damage or some other event took place. There are other ways besides the visual, the pictures. What my office does is we use very similar, not only software that the insurance uses when showing damages, we use specific weather data. We use a particular company called Verisix. They produce specific weather information for a property. I can pretty much know any event that has taken place at a person's property for at least 10 years and how the specific event most recently is now recorded shows us that we have an actual data that is backed by the same sources that the insurance company would use, which is the most important piece. What is a hurricane deductible and how does that work in New Jersey and Pennsylvania? Well, going back to the main subject here, wind and storm damages. Under storm damages, as we have hail damage, we have hurricane damage, we also have tornado damage. Specific hurricane deductibles are usually something from the south, but a lot of companies coming more north because of other events we've been having. Jersey and PA, we've been seeing this more and more. What the deductible is here, it will be different than your other perils. The peril specifically for a named hurricane usually now will be a percentage, 1%, 2%, sometimes 2.5% or even 3% of the value of your home. So you'll have a much larger deductible because the actual event should cause more catastrophic type damages than any other type of wind or hail type storm that could happen. That's why there's a change in deductible. They get a little bit more out of you because they're expecting a lot more damage. We don't necessarily recommend getting extra anything when it comes to that. But what we would always recommend is if there's something you can get to protect yourself better from these storm events, would be having matching on your policy. Because if a storm comes through or a hailstorm came through, it would affect one side of your property. If your property is 15 years old, you're going to have a little bit of an issue matching everything up perfectly. And I'm using a word match. That's what you're looking for. So you ask your insurance carrier, do you have an endorsement for matching? And they'll supply that to you. And now you have that extra $30,000 to get the rest of your home covered for the roof and or siding damage that you might not have already had because you didn't know that this is something they sell. So it's usually an a la carte item we tell people absolutely you want. There's another one you can get, which is called roof extended coverage. It just ensures the fact that you have that additional coverage that's needed for your roof. And there's another piece that's always important, city county ordinance upgrade. A lot of times the city and county come up with other constructional ways of doing a roof, maybe in the last 10, 15 years. Example would be drip edge. Another example would be ice and water shield. By including this, it will include these additional pieces that you do not have, that they do not owe you for, that they now will owe you because you're going to need to use it to get a new roof that's going to be warranted under a new company. So this is just extra information that will help you if you look into your policy, or even from my office, what we do all the time, we give free consultations on your policy. We actually want you to know what you couldn't, what you don't have, what you do have, what you could have. And again, you can take that back to your agent because we don't sell insurance. Are insurance claims impacted if a tree falls from a neighbor's property? Here's the specifics with insurance. Your insurance covers your property. Your neighbor's insurance covers your neighbor's property. As bad as it might be that the property line shows that the tree came from next door, your insurance company will pay for your damages. you probably have more of an issue with your neighbor, and that's something you need to sort out with them. But your insurance carrier will cover the tree, again, if it's blocking or causing damage to your property. If it just fell, you better just call your neighbor and ask him to move the tree. How can a public adjuster negotiate better settlements for wind damage claims? I mean, just in a general sense, what you have to understand is when you hire my office, you hire me, we do all the due diligence for you. We don't just show the specifics of, what you want to show me when you invite me over to your home to show me the damages. We take it a step further. We investigate the rest of your property. We go past the piece that you're showing me. Maybe you're just showing me shingles in your ground. I'm going to take time now to go all the way around your house, look at everything that you might have missed. Look at your gutters, look at all your siding, look at your windows, look at your screens, check any other buildings on your property. Maybe you have fencing, review the fencing, make sure there's nothing else going on, fixtures, anything else that could have been damaged, because wind is a lot more than what you sometimes believe. With this, if we can't see your roof or get to the top of your roof, we'll fly a drone. So there's a variety of different things that I do to ensure that we cover everything. So when we go to possibly put a claim in because of the damages you're showing me, to see that, is it just this? Is there anything more going on inside? Have you looked inside your closets? Let's look where the damage was, where the shingles came from. Now that the drone showed us it's the back of the house. Maybe there's some water damage you're not even seeing because you're not looking. It's a child's bedroom. They're not going to tell you. So these are just things I always try to say, that it's the extensive amount of investigation that I try to do, because it's my job to show everything that was related to this particular event, to ensure that whatever damages that you just saw and any other damages that we're able to make sure are seen are now going to be part of the claim. So we do everything we can. I say you need a public adjuster for that. You also need us to ensure that we pull the proper data. Not only will I pull data that shows the event did take place to prove it, I'm also going to pull other types of data that help you for your rebuild. This is like roof analysis. I'll get all the measurements for your roof. Siding analysis, all the measurements for your siding. Anything that will help produce the right amount of dollars to the elements that are damaged, to ensure that you get everything needed to fix all portions of your property from the claim. What steps should a homeowner take after they realize that they have some wind damage? What I would say is, if you're noticing something, you take a picture of it, because at the same point, whatever picture you're taking today should be what you are trying to claim as your damages. So that's the biggest thing you can do. There's really not much more that you can do than that. We usually come out same day. I try to always see somebody within 24 hours, because whatever you might have missed, I'll try to document for you. I'll bring out other professionals if other professionals are needed. If there's more damage based off of me flying a drone and showing you there's other pieces, we might need to have a roofer come out. You might need to have somebody look at your siding. There may be other things that are needed. If there's water damage, you may need remediation to dry what's going on, to ensure that it is not causing any mold or other, further damages inside your house, as long as we can stop or close off any entryways that are on the exterior of the house. Why is it essential to work with a public adjuster for complex windstorm claims? It's always essential to have a professional in your corner, because whoever comes out from the insurance company, it's for the insurance company. They're there as an employee or as an investigator for the insurance carrier to investigate what it is that you're telling them. What you should have is someone else telling them everything for you, which would be someone like myself. 21st Century Public Adjusters handles everything from soup to nuts, from reviewing everything with you to ensure that you have a better understanding of what we're going to ask the insurance to review, to let them understand what it is that we're trying to have them see. And on your end, we'll look for you to pull a couple estimates together from your own vendors to ensure that your vendors are able to get their job done the way they see it needs to be done, because I will coordinate whatever I need to that maybe is missed, because insurance, at the end of the day, is as good as what we are able to tell them. So the narrative that I try to put forward for any insurance carrier is showing them everything that has gone wrong, showing them everything that falls within the perils and provisions of the policy, and ensure that we have documentation from other professionals, let it be weather reports, let it be from roofers and or architects or even other engineers that have proven or seen, or contractors, of what is going to be needed to bring this house back to its beginning, which was before the event. So those are the reasons why you want to hire a public adjuster, and what we try to do for every one of our clients to make sure that everything is handled perfectly for them and to ensure that we get the best outcome that will benefit the client. Make sure you call 21st Century Public Adjusters, Ronnie Gelfont. We're located here in Newtown, Pennsylvania. I know that some people have been following us. Continue to follow us. We will continue to bring out new information every month. But as you continue to watch, keep liking.